If your goal is better erections and faster arousal with a real partner, does porn help, hurt, or not even matter? Here's what the data actually says and how you can use this to your knowledge. The reason I can make this video for you guys is because for 10 years, I was stuck inside of a pornography addiction. And not only did it take away my confidence, but it also caused me to have porn-induced erectile dysfunction at 20 years old, which means that I watched so much pornography, it fried my brain so much, it didn't even allow me to get an erection with a real woman at 20 years old, perfectly healthy. Imagine how sad that is. So in this video, I'll explain to you how and if porn can affect your performance in bed or your arousal, and I'll show you a plan on how to break free, if that's what you're looking for. So stay to the end. So first, let's talk about what porn actually does to your brain and how this can even affect you and possibly affect your erections. The first thing that comes to my mind is porn is nothing like the real life. It's on demand, it's staged, and it's not even realistic because you can get exactly what you want. You can get exactly what you're in the mood for, no matter how extreme or how vanilla you want it. You can find it and you can get it at the click of your fingers. And what that does to your brain is actually dangerous. It's way too much for your brain. It's kind of like instead of using your mouth to blow up a balloon for a birthday party, you're using an air compressor meant to fill up cars. Dude, it's too much. It's gonna explode. You're just forcing way too much in there. Because that amount of high stimulation and high amount of novelty being injected into your brain every single time you watch pornography, it's shifting what you can actually expect from real life. It's giving you a false frame to see the world from. And this can lead to so many things. Delayed arousal, needing prescriptions to even get hard, or in some cases, the complete inability to get an erection without pornography. And that's what happened to me. And that's what I had to deal with because for a very long time, I used to binge pornography for hours a day. I worked from home, so I had access to it maybe a little bit more than normal, and I took advantage of it, and I just couldn't stop until I did a few simple mental tricks that I'll show you at the end. And over the course of around 6 months of me doing these mental tricks, I completely healed myself of my porn-induced erectile dysfunction, and I'm back to normal, at least down there. And here I'm still a little bit weird. But if you've ever been in a position where you can get hard looking at a screen, but can't get hard by looking at a person when you're in the moment, first of all, I hope you never have to go through that because it's humiliating. But the reason that happens is because it's stimulating a different part of your brain. Pornography dumps a bunch of dopamine and novelty and just artificial stimulation right into your brain. While real life connections go based on real connection. They go based on real feelings, real emotions. And when you watch too much pornography, even those very strong emotions aren't enough. I've even had some clients tell me that in order for them to have sexual relationships, they need to watch pornography first to even get the ball rolling, and then they're able to have that intimate moment with somebody else. Now, does that really sound like a life that you want to live? Like at that point, you're basically depending on it. But let's be honest, not everyone has a pornography problem. Just because you watch it once or twice a week doesn't mean you're addicted. And it doesn't mean that's going to affect you in any way, shape, or form. It's kind of like you can't really say you're an alcoholic if you take a drink once in a while. It's no big deal. But if you're doing it every single day, multiple times a day, that's when stuff can get really dangerous. So for most people, watching porn does not automatically mean that you're going to have performance issues. But if you start to use pornography as a coping mechanism to unwind or to de-stress, or you run to it whenever you feel like lonely or anxious or bored, then that's when it becomes a problem, because then it becomes like a crutch. I don't think it's a coincidence that in the 90s, when porn was only available on DVDs or magazines, we had to go out your way to try and watch it. Porn erectile issues were only for men that had like low testosterone or over the age of 40 years old. But now that we have pornography at the access of our fingertips, it's all over social media. It's all over the place nowadays. Whenever we would like, we're seeing an increased amount of erectile issues, and not with men over 40, but men under 40. Now, there's no reason why a healthy man should be having performance issues unless there's something going on. Unless they're watching an unhealthy amount of pornography. And not only that, but porn robs us of real connection and real expectations. We stop looking for women as connections, or we stop looking at them as real love. And instead, we start looking at them as objects or just something to use as pleasure. So if you had that distorted point of view, do you really think that point of view is going to help you out in your marriage, in your relationships, or even to find a girlfriend? No. Nobody wants to be seen as an object. Which brings me to my last point. We're basically feeding ourselves performance anxiety because we're comparing our sexual performance to men that are literally drugged up to perform. They have tons of medical amplifiers to perform the way that they do. It's almost like comparing your life to a movie and saying that your Monday morning is boring because you're not fighting off crime or you're not beating up the Joker. No shit, Sherlock. That's unrealistic. That just doesn't happen in regular life. So not only is it having problems on the front end, giving us performance anxiety, but we also see that men who watch a lot of pornography have a lower satisfaction in their sexual life. And that's because of the constant comparison that they're doing to themselves. And the hard part is, it's completely in your mind. All the performance anxiety, all the amount of smaller satisfaction, it's all in here. Because physically, you're the same person. And this can lead to a double-edged sword, where your partner might feel like they're not good enough for you. And you start to feel like you're not performing well for them, which leads to a whole lot of problems, all caused by pornography. And that's a no-win for anybody. So of course, this is mainly if you feel like you have a pornography problem. But for most people, again, watching a little bit of porn is not the end of the world. And now you might be wondering, well, how do I know if I have a porn problem? So let me just ask you a couple of questions and just answer them truthfully as you can and just be real with yourself. Do you run to pornography whenever you feel stressed, tired, bored, alone? Do you use it as a way to escape something? What is it that you escape from? And ask yourself, do I feel like I have a porn problem? Why do I feel like I have a porn problem? Do you feel guilty when you watch it? Do you feel disappointed in yourself whenever you're done? And lastly, is how often do you watch it? And knowing that number, do you feel like it's a problem? So if answering any of those questions felt heavy, then you might have an issue with pornography as a way as escaping. So I'll ask you this. Knowing how porn can affect your sexual anxiety, sexual health, and even your partner, do you feel like pornography affects your performance? It did for me. So if you don't want to fall into that trap, I recommend doing these 3 things. Bare minimum, do not watch porn 12 to 14 hours before having sexual relationships. If not, you're not going to last or you're not even going to get hard. And it can be difficult to quit porn cold turkey. So I recommend a more tapered down approach. This is what worked for me, and this is what worked for all of my clients that I've led to freedom. It's kind of like driving a car. Like you wouldn't go from 100 miles per hour to dead stop using your e-brake. That wouldn't end too well. So your new goal is to taper off of porn. And if you need to fulfill the urge, this sounds weird, but use your imagination. Do not use anything else outside of yourself. That means no scrolling, no videos, and no pictures. And the reason this works is because right now you're using an outside source like pornography, and you're literally getting your rocks off to pixels, which is nowhere near what real life is. So if you can stop relying so much on pixels and take one step down to just imagination, then it makes the next step of using no heavy fantasy a lot easier. And I get it, as men, we're gonna have certain thoughts at times. There's nothing we can do about it. We don't have to spiral out of control though. Like we've all had those moments where we're talking to someone and we just don't want to talk to them anymore. And we're just thinking, oh man, I cannot wait to get out of this conversation. But we don't say that to them. We just kind of smile and nod politely, right? Same thing with this. We don't have to act on every single thing that we think. And I'm a huge numbers guy. So what I tell my one-on-one people is to track how many times you get the urge. Track where you relapsed, why you relapsed, what you were feeling, and how many times you successfully use your imagination instead of relying on pixels. So that you can see the progress, you can see the numbers, and you can see what you need to improve on. But if you want a quick way to not go back, here's a sneaky one. If you try to fight off the urge to watch pornography, but you're in the same place, you're using the same app, or you're in the same physical location as when you got the urge, that's like trying not to get sick, but you're surrounded by people coughing and sneezing and have a bunch of boogers in their mouth and in their nose. You gotta get out the fucking area. Do something different. Do something new. It could be as simple as going for a walk. It could be as simple as cleaning the dishes. For me, if it was late at night and I got the urge scrolling on my phone, I would throw my phone across the room, go to the kitchen, and chill in the kitchen for 10 minutes and not do anything. I just got out the area and I got out the urge. Because realistically, you're not fighting off pornography. You're just fighting off a 10 to 15 minute wave. So there you go. Is porn always a problem with performance? No. But if you feel like you might depend on porn and you watch it more than you would like, then yes, at some point, it can have some very serious effects. And I get it. Quitting pornography can be hard on your own. That's exactly why I put together a root session call. So if you want to get down to the root reason of why you keep going back and you want to build a plan on how to actually break free, personalized to your specific situation, click the link below. Let's have a one-on-one chat and I'll break it down for you. I'll give you all the knowledge on how I was able to quit and we'll specialize it to you. If that sounds like that's what you're looking for, click the link below and let's talk. Other than that, hope you guys have an amazing day.